Hi, I'm Amber, also known as the Lone Star Keto Girl. Today, I'll be talking about uric acid. While I have your attention, though, how about hitting that subscribe button and that little notification bell so you won't miss out on future videos? All right, so let's get back to uric acid. Since going meat-based, carnivore, I see a lot of people bring up the concern about too much uric acid due to all the meat, specifically gout, kidney stones. But what exactly is uric acid? I actually didn't fully understand uric acid. Uric acid is formed when your body breaks down purines, which are found in some foods like meat, especially organs, seafood, alcohol, sugar, veggies like asparagus and spinach, and coffee. Most of the uric acid leaves your body when you urinate and a little bit when you poop. Okay. And generally, if your kidneys are working fine, there's not an issue. It just excretes out and it's all good. But what happens if you can't clear the uric acid and it remains in the blood? That's an issue. High uric acid levels, known as hyperuricemia, can result in gout and kidney stones. Not fun. Elevated uric acid levels are also associated with health conditions like heart disease, diabetes, and kidney disease. Rates of hyperuricemia have risen a lot since 1960. And the most recent significant study of hyperuricemia and gout found that 43.3 million Americans have the condition. Excess uric acid levels in your blood can lead to the formation of crystals. Although these can form anywhere in the body, they tend to form in and around your joints and your kidneys. Your body's defensive white blood cells may attack the crystals, and that causes inflammation and pain. So how do you know your uric acid level is too high? Well, number one, you can have it tested. There are blood tests that can show how much uric acid is in your blood. The blood test measures the uric acid in milligrams and the blood in deciliters. So you're going to see a number in units of milligrams per deciliter. Uric acid levels are considered high for females who have it over 6 milligrams per deciliter, or males 7 milligrams per deciliter. Okay, but keep in mind that diuretics, vitamin B3, and aspirin can affect your results. Chemo and radiation can also cause high uric acid levels because they kill off cells, which raises the level. And of course, it could be higher than normal because you eat foods with a lot of purines. Yeah, and that's why carnivores get bashed for this. Gout has often been blamed on excessive consumption of meat. That's because the uric acid that causes gout is a breakdown product of purines, which is a building block of protein that is highly concentrated in meat. Again, specifically organs. However, as with all nutritional epidemiology studies, it's impossible to separate eating meat from observational healthy user bias, or from associated refined grains or alcohol intake, yada, yada. In other words, epidemiology studies can't prove that meat causes increased gout risk. In fact, one study showed that vegans actually had higher uric acid levels than meat and fish eaters. Gout isn't primarily caused by purine-rich or high-protein foods that up the uric acid. It's the inability to effectively clear the uric acid, which can eventually form crystals in the joints and stones in the kidneys, which is from a feedback loop of inflammation, always inflammation. And usually there's a catalyst feature which induces it. So what inhibits normal kidney function? Sugar is a huge one, specifically high insulin. The kidneys are responsible for about half of the body's workload clearing insulin after it's been used. This is why poor uric acid clearance in the kidneys is strongly linked to insulin resistance. And an interesting find is that eating more protein in the form of meat seems to increase the excretion of uric acid from the kidneys through the urine, and therefore doesn't have much of an effect on the blood uric acid levels after all, or the risk of gout. Only about a third of people with hyperuricemia experience any symptoms. So let's talk about the two most common issues, gout and kidney stones. Yeah. Gout affects about 20% of people with hyperuricemia. A rapid drop in uric acid levels can also trigger gout. Gout can appear as isolated attacks or flares. Some people experience chronic gout, which involves a number of attacks occurring over a short period of time. Gout can affect any joint in the body, but flares often tend to happen in the big toe first. Feet, ankles, knees, and elbows are also common sites of gout. My grandfather had gout horrible in his feet, specifically his big toes. Gout attacks tend to occur suddenly, often at night. The attacks peak in intensity in about 12 to 14 hours. Even untreated, though, attacks of gout usually subside within about 2 weeks. Some symptoms of gout may include severe pain in the joints, a given, joint stiffness, again, a given, difficulty moving of the affected joints, makes sense, redness and swelling, and trust me, it's pretty bad. I've seen some nasty stuff. Mishap in joints, I've seen that too. Okay, now let's get into kidney stones, because that seems to be really more of a common thing. Uric acid crystals. Okay, I'm going to start over. Okay. Uric acid. Okay, I'm going to start again. Uric acid crystals can cause a buildup of stones in the kidneys. Often the stones are small and are passed in your urine, no big deal. However, sometimes they can become really big and they can't pass through the urinary tract. And I hear it is painful. No thanks. More painful than labor? Yeah, no thank you. Thank God I haven't had any of those issues. Some symptoms of kidney stones include pain or aching in your lower back, side, abdomen, or groin, nausea, increased urge to urinate, pain when urinating, difficulty urinating, blood in the urine, and foul smelling urine. If you also have a kidney infection, you can experience chills and fever too. That's no fun. This buildup of urine is an ideal breeding zone for bacteria. So it makes sense that it can increase kidney infections when you have kidney stones. So what causes hyperuricemia and who is more at risk? Actually, anyone can have hyperuricemia, but it tends to be more common in males. And it tends to increase the older you get. Some risk factors that are associated with hyperuricemia, you're going to love this one, alcohol use. Some medications, particularly medications for heart disease, immune suppressing drugs, and diuretics. Lead exposure, pesticide exposure, kidney disease, makes sense because of the excretion, high blood pressure, high blood glucose levels, insulin resistance, hypothyroidism, obesity. What list is obesity not on? Extreme levels of physical activity, good old genetics, niacin or vitamin B3, psoriasis, and of course, a purine-rich diet. Also, you may be monitored for high uric acid levels when undergoing chemotherapy or radiation treatment for cancer. Meat is high in uric acid. However, under normal healthy conditions, any excess is excreted by the kidneys, right? But here's something that you should know. If you're new to low carb, keto, carnivore, and you're a little concerned about this, there are a few things you do need to know. In the first few weeks, when you start this new diet, it's not uncommon for uric acid levels to rise in the blood. And it usually levels off about 6 to 8 weeks. And the reason is because it competes with the ketones as far as excretion goes. But as you become more fat adapted, you become more efficient with the ketones, and then there's not that issue. Okay. As some of y'all probably know, I started carnivore about 2.5 years ago. So obviously, I've been eating a lot of purine-rich meat. And as far as I know, I don't have any kidney issues. Well, I had a company called Foracare send me a Fora 6 Connect uric acid meter, and I'm going to be checking my levels, and let's just see how bad that meat is affecting me. So stay tuned for the next segment where I test it, and we'll find out what my numbers are. And today I'm going to be reviewing this little device right here. It is a uric acid monitor, and it measures the uric acid in your blood. And it comes with this nifty little case and the lancet device. So you can poke your finger, and the lancets here, and some control solution, and the test strips, and individual little wrappers, and the device itself. Okay, so are we ready to get ready to test this? Now, as probably most of y'all know, I am a carnivore, which means I pretty much eat only meat. And meats are high in purines, which can cause a high level of uric acid in your blood, specifically if you are unable to eliminate via the kidneys, which is where most of it gets eliminated, and it's generally not an issue. But we're going to see how my body is handling it. So as far as I know, I don't have any kidney issues, so we'll see. Okay, so all you have to do is take this little device. I already put the lancet in, and then you just pull back the plunger. And then I like to use this finger kind of off on the side, and I dial it all the way up to just go ahead and get a good old prick. Let's see. And then I kind of put my hand down just for a second and let it kind of, the blood get through there. Okay, yay. I got a nice little bead there. Okay. And then here's the device. You take your strip. I already took it out of the package, insert it into the device. And you see that, and then you wait till it has like this little flash. There we go. Okay, now we're ready. Okay, here we go. You just touch it kind of like at a 45-degree angle. Bam, and that's it. And now it's counting down. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, so for reference, it is considered high if it's 6 and above for women and 7 and above for men. So I have a 5.1, so I'm good. It's kind of hard to see that, but that's actually a 5 there. But yeah, 5.1. So I'm under the level. It's all good. And it's not surprising. I mean, I literally only eat meat. So it's not surprising that, I have a number like that, but it's still not high. So it's all good. This little device is super easy to use. So if you have kidney issues that you're kind of worried about, and you're just starting a carnivore, keto, low carb type of diet, and you're really worried about, high uric acid levels because of gout or kidney issues, this little device is super easy to use. It's inexpensive. I highly recommend it. Oh, and the other thing too, I don't have it paired. I forgot to pair it, but they have an app that is on the phone, and your results will show up on here. So as soon as I pair it, this will send the results here. And they also have a blood glucose monitor, which I've used, and I like it a lot. And you can see right here, those are all my results of the blood tests that I've taken. So with my blood glucose. So this is really nifty. It's all in one app. You have multiple things you can test for, but this device specifically tests for uric acid. They also have one that I believe is a combination. But like I said, I have the blood glucose one and I have the uric acid one, and I do highly recommend them. Super easy to use. I've never had an issue with them. So anyway, if you're interested, check it out. It's by Fora 6. Let's see. Foracare. This specific one is the Fora 6. That is for uric acid. So thank you so much for watching.